A beacon of light. Medical examiner confirms Robert Carradine's manner of death, as his family calls for an end to mental health stigma. He was working on a film right up until the end. The project was called The Driver, also known as Driving into Darkness. In January 2006, the director, Connie Lamoth, noticed that Robert Carradine had gone quiet. He stopped responding. He missed a table read. A close friend on the production asked her to give him space, that his mental health was something they needed to be careful around, that he might come back on his own. She gave him that space. She waited. He did not come back. On the 23rd of February 2026, Robert Carradine died at the age of 71 in a Los Angeles hospital. He had been found and taken there by ambulance, but the damage to his brain from a lack of oxygen was irreversible. His family confirmed that day that he had taken his own life after a nearly 2-decade battle with bipolar disorder. And on the 27th of February, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner made it official, confirming the manner of death as suicide and the cause of death as sequelae of anoxic brain injury. His family did not flinch from that confirmation. They had already said the word. They had already chosen honesty over silence, and they were not going to change course now. In their statement released on the day of his death, they wrote, "In a world that can feel so dark, Bobby was always a beacon of light to everyone around him. We are bereft at the loss of this beautiful soul and want to acknowledge Bobby's valiant struggle against his nearly 2-decade battle with bipolar disorder. We hope his journey can shine a light and encourage addressing the stigma that attaches to mental illness." Valiant. That word matters. It was not chosen carelessly. It was chosen by a family who had watched Robert fight, truly fight, for nearly 20 years, against an illness that does not announce itself politely and does not respond to willpower alone. Bipolar disorder had taken hold of him in the wake of his half-brother David's death in 2009. A loss that Robert later described as the trigger for a mental collapse he never fully recovered from. He was hospitalized. He struggled. He kept going. He made films and television appearances and fought his way back into rooms that the illness tried to take him out of. He kept going until, one January evening, he went silent. And this time, no amount of space brought him back. Keith Carradine, Robert's brother and manager, and the man who broke the news to the world, spoke with the deliberate intention of making something good come from something devastating. "We want people to know it, and there is no shame in it," Keith said. "It is an illness that got the best of him, and I want to celebrate him for his struggle with it, and celebrate his beautiful soul. He was profoundly gifted. We will take solace in how funny he could be, how wise and utterly accepting and tolerant he was. No shame." Keith said it plainly, clearly, and without qualification. In a culture that still too often treats mental illness as a character flaw rather than a medical condition, his words were an act of deliberate and necessary courage. Tributes continued to pour in as the medical examiner's confirmation circulated. Jake Thomas, who had played Robert's son in Lizzie McGuire, wrote on Instagram, "My heart hurts today. I was fortunate to know Bobby for most of my life, and he was one of the coolest guys you could ever meet. Funny, pragmatic, sometimes cranky, always a little eccentric." He signed off as his character had always called Robert's character, "Love you, Jaker." Robert Carradine is survived by his 3 children, Ever, Marika, and Ian, and his grandchildren. He died in hospital. He died fighting. And his family made sure the world knew both of those things.